Can we get a checker outer, an official checker outer?
We're not doing comments on this, are we?
I don't know if we're doing comments on this or not.
Comments turned on or off?
I turn the comments off for games now going forward because the game should be the action, not the comments. People can text each other during games, right? I mean, that's what people do. People text each other during games. No one's commenting on our channel. And I think it also crowds up the screen. So I like that.
Our ad is when did we graduate from high school?
Ooh.
Class of 94, 94, 94.
94, 94, 94. It's good.
How does it know that?
No, it's asking.
It's an ad. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. We're just about to get started here on the WCAC
algorithms.
Spectacular.
There we go.
You all right?
Oh, let's get the table back. No, I'm not.
Is that what is that? Is that the ad? Oh, that's on yours. Yeah, there you go. See? We do all our extra bonus.
Come on, FCC guy.
Aren't you?
Got it.
That's like double distributed air.
I don't know how that
I
works.
don't know how that works either. Either they cancel each other out or one's. I don't know. You guys ready? Let's do this.
I got an issue with my foot. My shoe's gonna come off.
Do you need a shoe? A shoe person?
I just
A
need
cobbler?
to adjust my foot.
A shoehorn.
Can you shoehorn that?
Sorry, everybody. No, it's stuck on the strap in the back. Just pick it up.
We were in rain delay earlier, in case you guys were wondering where we were. 1 hour, 16 minutes.
No, the right one.
Nationals hosting the Marlins up 2-1 in the fourth inning, after 4, I should say. Patrick Corbin wearing number 45. Shout out to Patrick Corbin for honoring his best friend, Tyler Skaggs, the pitcher from the Arizona Diamondbacks who tragically passed earlier this week. Hearts go out to not just the Cardinals fans, folks in the D.C. area. There's a lot of Cardinals fans around here, but the team, the families. It's crazy when something like that happens in sports. Thank God it doesn't happen that often, so that it is still a big deal when it does happen. And good luck tonight for the rest of the game, obviously, to our main man, Patrick Corbin. But that's not why we're here tonight, boys. Get things started with a little Steely Dan. On behalf of First Amendment Sports Podcast Studios, I am Ken Marangolo. This is the WCAC Spectacular.
Hey now.
He is Kevin Ricca.
Oh, I'm so happy to be a part of this. It's that time of the year. It's coming. It's creeping. Right around 4th of July, you start thinking about how that dew is on the grass in early August. It's about 175 degrees.
You smell that?
Cut grass? Yeah, cut grass. It smells amazing.
It smells like football.
He's Tim Strachan.
Man, we are roughly 30 days away from camp opening, from youth to the pros, and I cannot wait to talk about that high school level with the best conference in the country, the schedule that just came out. This is
I was
going to
say, you're not the only one.
This is unbelievable, and that smell of football's in the air, boys. We are roughly 60 days away from game starting.
It's fun. We're going to be hitting you with it on a regular basis. The First Amendment team is ready to provide a full season of WCAC football this year. We're not only we just flat out proud to be able to be on the sidelines for some of the most amazing games in high school football nationally. We get to tell the story of all the schools in our conference. We are starting out August 24th. So on First Amendment Sports, on our YouTube channel, please do us a good favor. Click the subscribe button. You'll get a heads up for all the games and shows that we do. We're going to be talking to coaches, former players. We're going to be shining all these schools up, and then we're going to be putting them on live in HD, bringing all the cameras. We got Luke and Victor and their whole team to help provide the best, most highest of definition production at Gonzaga, at McNamara, at St. John's, all day, at Catholic University,
at Good Counsel.
At Good Counsel. Thank you, Coach Andy Stefanelli, and incoming AD Steve Howes, friend of the show. Been on the show before, I believe, in the parking lot of Catholic University.
That's right, he was.
So we roll super deep. I thought tonight would be a good chance to get back in the mode of thinking about WCAC football. not that we ever really stopped loving it or thinking about it, but thinking about it and talking about it in season. You know, we try to stay focused. When it's basketball season, we want to make sure those boys and girls are getting all the attention they deserve. Same with lacrosse and baseball. But it's officially time to start talking about football. The National High School Football Rankings came out. We're going to weave in and out of our schedule. The National High School Football Rankings came out, Kevin.
I mean,
come on.
Well, first of all,
Hold on, you keep go with that.
What just happened with our schedule over here at First Amendment Sports? Because you're talking about putting the shine on something. Apparently, a lot of the schools we're covering are coming in. It's just real shiny, Ken. I mean, are you kidding me? I believe 8 of our 10 broadcasts involve 2 teams in the preseason top 25. You guys know I've had a problem with Coach Jeff Fisher from the Tennessee Titans and various other places. And his mayonnaise-covered mustache. I'm just going to say,
I love his mustache.
He's a Super Bowl contending coach. He just brought out 6 guys that they got in the trade for RG3 to kind of shove it up our face here in Washington, D.C. Right? In Landover, I guess, but home of the Washington Redskins. And ever since then, I can't stand him. But you know what? That name, Jeff Fisher, just took a whole nother light. Jeff Fisher from High School Football America puts out a top 100. And good Lord, did that guy do a job. Did that guy, he just must know something that we already did, that we've been preaching here for a long time. 4 WCAC schools in the top 25. 1 in the top 5, 2 in the top 10, 3 in the top 15, 4 in the top 25. He just made the schedule that we put together make us look like 3 wise men, the Magi, if you will.
I'm holding a piece of paper that has our games on it. We'll put something out on social media, as official as it gets. The games that we're planning to be at and the games that you'll be able to watch on First Amendment Sports Channel. We're going to start off, like I said, on August 24th. We have 2 St. John's games, the 24th and the 31st, against out-of-state competition. Right away, Southridge coming up from Miami, Florida.
Yep. Miami, back-to-back Miami schools coming into town, coming into Washington, D.C.
Deerfield Beach.
Southridge is coming in there. They, God bless them. They called for a game. They heard about this WCAC, and they wanted to play. They wanted to see and check their stats here early August.
Yep.
Well, as early as you can play in August, I believe. The 24th seems nuts, guys. That's
2 games in August. That, to me, that's ridiculous.
I agree.
But that's amazing. It's amazing for us. Between those 2 teams, they're both in the top 100, I think. Or actually,
Southridge has not gotten there yet. They're an upstart. They're not. They're no pushover. Don't get me wrong here. Right. They're just not one of these glory teams that has had an established program over the years, which is part of it. Yeah. Jeff Fisher, I read how he goes about selecting these teams. It's a proprietary algorithm that he suggests is the reason why.
It's all about algorithms, to do it.
I know you, and I get that.
Deerfield made the algorithm,
all he had to do was listen to the WCAC Spectacular. Yeah, we wouldn't have had to algorithm nothing for the man.
No. There's no algorithms being done between.
No, that's called facts, Jack. Never since we've been alive.
Deerfield Beach did make the top.
Deerfield Beach is a top 21. Deerfield Beach has 4 Division I wide receivers. Yep. The young man's name escapes me, but he just decommitted from Miami and committed to Mike Loxley here in Maryland. And we're going to get on that. Sorry. It's still July. I'm not. But right. 4 D1 receivers, a D1 quarterback, I think, committed to Florida Atlantic, and a tailback going to Clemson. This team's coming in locked and loaded, coming from Miami, and that's going to be our first top 25 contest that we call in August. Look at us.
It gives us a chance to look at St. John's and the team and program they're returning. I hate to use the words most notably, because you could say most notably about a number of different players on the defense with MJ Sherman, my man switching from safety to corner.
Well, listen, that's a work in progress. He's listed as a defensive back.
Okay,
Mordecai.
That's fine, Mordecai.
Listen, like I said, in July, there's a lot of stuff on paper.
I know.
There's a lot of X's and O's written on cocktail napkins. There's a lot of salt and pepper shakers moving around.
Yeah.
I get that.
But guys we know about.
I think he might be a safety. Although I want him to be a corner because
it's a lot more dollars at the pro level.
Well,
On offense, Rakim at wide receiver committed to LSU. Mm-hmm. Certainly, in most places listed as the number 1 receiver, I think, in the country.
Oh, we know that down here. We're right at the poker table.
Yeah.
He's the number 1 wide receiver in the country. Yep. Let's not skip over the fact that
that's not
MJ
hyperbole.
Sherman's back.
That is not.
I agree.
That's
not
legit.
hyperbole.
Yep. Sorry to interrupt. because I think we're all on the same page here. MJ Sherman coming back off ACL, committed to Georgia. This is a top 3 recruit in the United States of America who did not get to play his junior year. I think we're going to get to see a lot of fun stuff out of that young man.
Yes.
What a class act on the field as a leader, never left the program, never left the sidelines, and was Mr. Positive. You can't help but root for a kid like that coming back off that.
Not only that, but when you talk about linebackers, their success is in many ways. I mean, obviously, if you're a talent like him, you're going to show up on film no matter what. But he gets to play behind a defensive line. I mean, let's be honest. Linebackers are who play behind great defensive lines. They're the Hall of Famers. St. John's defensive line is legit.
And let's be honest, there's going to be times that he puts a hand in the dirt and comes off that edge as a defensive end in that 4-3. And if they do that, I'm telling you, Greg Hudgens on the other side, he has been recruited by every SEC and Big Ten school. You got my big Trey Williams showing out. One of the top D tackles in the country, committed to Clemson as we speak. And Tyzay Johnson, I mean, you name a school, name the schools he doesn't have an offer from. Right. That's easier to do. That's going to be a fearsome foursome, no doubt about it. That defense is looking strong. These young guys coming back to play, they're on the same page, and they got something to prove. You know, I do believe, you know, they had very high expectations last year, and they never got to reach that plateau, and everything happens for a reason.
I know.
And I think that's what these guys are thinking.
I think it's not for me to say where kids should play position-wise either.
No, but
wherever
it's for you to
Mordecai.
see.
But
Exactly.
when I think of that front four and I think of MJ, I just love the idea of Mordecai's speed at the safety position in the center of the field. But St. John's has athletes and speed that they can put in the right position. I always talk about it, and if anyone has ever watched us, they know that if it's something I always talk about, not only am I going to keep always talking about it, but I'm going to keep always talking about how I always talk about it.
Yeah, you're a harper.
we know.
It's going to happen.
When he touches the ground, when he runs, he gallops. It's a sound that no one else makes.
The one guy I always think about in terms of that is Josh Wilson. He was one of the fastest guys for University of Maryland, played at DeMatha. When he ran, it almost was like he was running on a cloud. It was unbelievable.
How would you know? How would you know what that was like?
Are you making a handicap joke?
Whoa!
No,
wait a
no,
second.
a speed joke.
We're talking about
joke.
speed.
Okay.
Oh no, I think you've overdone the
We've
handicap
seen the
pointer.
film.
I
We've
beat you in every
seen the
race
film.
we ever had.
Never.
Yes.
Did you ever beat me
Of
in
course.
any race we ever had?
Every race we ever
Okay.
had.
Congratulations, but never have you beat me in a race. But guess what?
Yep.
Mordecai McDaniel beats everyone in a race.
Yes, he does.
And
He does.
we can all take the baton and whatever. It doesn't matter. Look out for Isaiah Jordan and Christian Taylor coming back. You know, Isaiah's been our guy. Had a nose for the ball. We talked about him all last year. I think 5 out of the last 6 games he played in, he came up with a fumble recovery or an interception. The guy was he's that guy. He's that guy. And the whole Ivy League is on him. And I think Penn was the first offer. We'll see. I know Brian Griffin, the AD, wouldn't mind if he went to his alma mater. And what a great kid. It's going to be a studly defense. But before we go any further, let me just say congratulations to Sol J.
Yeah.
Not only did he recently, on Father's Day, commit to BYU, a big deal for the young man, but he also is now in the Elite 11, competing at the Outlook with the top 20 quarterbacks in the nation and showing off for, I know, what we got around here, and he is putting it on for the district. He's putting it on for the WCAC. He's representing us to the fullest, and there couldn't be a better kid doing it.
Well, one of the greatest things about doing what we're doing is getting to know the kids from all the schools and the families, and you know, you can't help but root for a kid like Soljay, you know, and his family. You know, just the
His
nicest
parents were
people.
so good to us, weren't they?
Just the nicest people.
They only know how to be nice.
And he's a good
That's it.
kid, and he does all the right things. He says all the right things, and you just want to be a fan of him.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna have more opportunities as we move through this
Sure.
to talk about St. John's. We get out of August. 2 games down in our schedule. Saturday, September 7th, will be at Bishop McNamara High School, where they will be hosting Riverdale Baptist. Some interesting notes of that game. Lamont Jordan,
Yes, he is,
the
man.
former Terp,
My former booth mate.
former booth mate,
Yes.
former NFL running back.
And my boy from back in the days of hanging out at Maryland. We were there when we were
Lamont.
both young and
Huge supporter of the
and,
girls basketball program.
Absolutely. You know, Lamont's a great guy. And I'm so glad that he's got this opportunity to do something that he loves, and it's going to be a lot of fun, man. It's going to be a lot of fun watching that happen.
We're going to be on the field at Bishop McNamara. I think they're returning a first-team WCAC linebacker, and Quinn Osborne. We got a chance to see him up close and personal. He's also first team all nice, right up there with Soul J. Quinn's going to be working with
the
us.
Recognition that we think he deserves.
That's
He's
right. On the field,
couldn't agree more.
Repping the WCAC. Off the field, leading the First Amendment Sports Club at Bishop McNamara. Thank you, sir. We'll be having more stuff coming out about that. But he is our man on the ground in Forestville, leading the way. I can't wait to watch him on the field. I hope he's able to. He's excited about the fact that we're putting some shine on the Mustangs early in September. I think it's going to be a great day. 2 p.m. Get there early. Get on that sideline and be cheering.
Or just click on that YouTube real quick.
That's right. That's
Wherever
right.
you're going to be, you're going to be able to watch it.
Well,
no matter what.
And I think it goes without. Actually, it doesn't go without saying because we have to say it. All these times, for the most part, are 2 p.m. start times. One of the things we're going to be really trying our best to do is before the game, 35, 45 minutes ahead of the game, talk about the schools where we're at, talk about a little bit of the history, get somebody on with us, maybe a former coach, a player, something that school is doing great. Maybe it doesn't even have to do with sports, but figure out a way to tell awesome stories about these schools. And Bishop
I nominate
McNamara.
Asim Penny. I'm
well,
making that known right now.
If we can get him and Junior Bynum and Tom Clark together
man, come
on the
on,
set
man.
before the game,
That's like a family reunion.
that would be amazing. We're going to have 2 weeks to really let the Bishop McNamara win over Riverdale Baptist sink in before we head off to a huge battle on September 21st between St. John's and IMG coming up from Florida.
Mm-hmm.
Good Lord.
Is that a Catholic? Is that going to be a Catholic, or is that is it going to be on campus at St. John's?
That's going to be on campus,
Okay.
right there at St. John's.
Just want to make sure.
Yep. Now, we got to all come together as a Catholic conference and pray that this game does not get canceled by a hurricane
It's
for the
been
same weekend
unbelievable, man.
for the third straight year.
Yeah.
This is 2 years in a
Hurricanes.
row. 2 years in a row. Those poor guys down there. They now, IMG, there's kids coming from a lot of places, and there was no way you could say, let's get on a plane.
That's right.
For 2 years in a row, they've been trying to get this done, and I hope it happens because it's going to be a great football game, and these guys don't deserve to have their football season and school season broken up by something out of their control
Right.
when they have to worry about family and everything else. Let's make sure that there's some good weather that weekend up here in the district and down there in Bradenton.
And for all of our sakes, because that's going to be an unbelievable football
And
game.
their preseason number.
I can't wait. 7.
Unbelievable.
Preseason number
We got,
7.
we got a number 7 in there.
St.
Sorry.
John's is as high as 3
all
on
my
most places,
summer
right?
notebooks are getting we're going with Jeff Fisher here.
Jeff
My
Fisher.
favorite Jeff Fisher. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, and St. John's is the number 3 team in the country. And listen, I know there's a whole lot of schedule to talk about, but in this schedule, St. John's is playing 8 of their 10 games this season are against teams ranked in the top 25. I do believe this is the greatest high school football schedule ever. And I don't know how anyone's going to top it, but we'll figure that along with the alliance and everything else going on here in the future. But
There's some awesome stuff happening scheduling wise. St. John's will prevail at home at 2 p.m. on the 21st, obviously over IMG, who's they're the road team. They're gonna. If this was in Florida, maybe the outcome would be different, but it's not. This one's
Traveling's
on
hard.
Soldier Field. We always called it Soldier Field. That was the old field. But what do they call? What's the official
Soldier Field?
Yeah, that's what we always when we played at St. John's on the upper field. We always called it Soldier Field.
would you just because we were the cadets, you guys just adopted that?
That's what it was on our schedule some years.
No,
Soldier Field.
I'm going to tell you, I've never seen Soldier Field written on the schedule, but I appreciate your ability to move forward fast.
Yeah, I'm just saying. Soldier Field. Let me just. We'll
And
not touch
did you
that
play
one
at Deerfield at DeMatha, or is
down.
that
No,
just we just go with the mascot?
Down in Dunkirk. We played on Deerfields. We move in October.
I like Soldier Field though; it's not a bad ring. It's got a good ring to
I
it.
always thought
All right,
about that.
fair enough.
Because whenever we played.
I salute you.
Thank
Kev.
you. I salute. Gonzaga College, first game of the season. The defending WCAC champs, first game of the season. They'll be playing at Our Lady of Good Counsel High School, 7 p.m. Friday night. That's our Friday Night Lights game of the season. We don't have another Friday night game on the books, so that'll be cool. We've reached out. We've talked to Coach Stefanelli, obviously a friend of the show, Steve Howes, the incoming AD there.
Hey, welcome back to the WCAC,
Yeah,
Steve
that's right.
House.
That's
my
right.
man.
Steve.
We want to
And
make
Coach
sure.
Stefanelli, just that I think that business just got done recently, and
Yeah,
I'm very appreciative.
Yes, we intend to have a lot of friends down in this basement in the next couple of months, and Coach Stefanelli is definitely one of them. Go back and rewatch that episode from last season. It was a lot of fun.
Very true, but
Or just wait for the next one.
Or just
but
wait for the
listen,
next one.
I mean, we got to talk about some of his guys real quick, don't we?
Yeah,
I
no,
mean,
of course, no.
let's do it.
Good
Let's not
counsel
skip
was
over. Yeah,
good counsel, and Gonzaga for that matter.
Yep, gotta hit them.
You know, inside that top 25 nationally for a reason. Good counsel
Oh, boy.
has talent coming out the ears.
oh man,
They've reloaded in some respects,
Yeah,
filling some
no
holes,
doubt.
and listen, their offensive line, which was one of their biggest strengths last season, is a little bit strengthened by the addition of a kid who's probably already getting offers from Power 5 conferences.
yeah,
aside of
no
Langston.
doubt. Xavier Ricks is going to be a stud. I think the first name we need to talk about is one of our big stars in the conference, and I think we all know where it starts and where it ends, and how we've grown up as football fans, and the Hogs and the O line and the Beef Brothers at this level, and the Beef Brothers last year's version have been broken apart, but these guys are coming up to fill in spots. Landon Tengwall, I'm telling you.
What a great lineman name.
He's going to be
For
playing
some
on Sunday,
reason.
everybody. Watch him.
I mean, let's not put too much pressure on the kid, but he's going to be playing on Sundays. Did I just echo your sentiment?
Yeah.
The dude, listen, Notre Dame right now, I mean, they would do anything to get the kid, and the kid had a great visit up there, but we're talking Notre Dame. We're talking Penn State. We're talking Alabama, Georgia.
All
you
of
know,
them. All of them.
Well,
Yep.
it's who doesn't, right? You know, and it's not even that. It's just who has the kid is a different 6'6", 300 than any junior in the nation.
Yeah.
His 6'6", 300 does not look like a potential. They're not drafting him upon his ability. They're talking about right now.
Yes.
This young man's come together. And you know what the best part is? I've been checking him all season long, all off season. Everyone's talking about who's got the best area and this, that, and the other. This guy defends like an Avenger WCAC football.
Yep.
Local football, WCAC style. He is our point man. He's our left tackle in the fight against anyone else.
great.
And I'm
I
telling
like
you, we got the guy for the job, man.
Our metaphorical
Uh,
line.
let him
He's
have
going to
it.
wear it, and he'll wear it well.
And listen, because we
6'6",
know
6'6"
Savion
of
Wilkerson gets loose on occasion.
Yep.
We've
Kid's
seen him
so
do
impressive.
his thing.
So
Oh, yeah.
impressive. So, you know, I mean, he got banged up. He fought through it. Whenever they called his number, he stepped up and got it done. It's going to be great to see him at full, strength and everything this coming season with that line.
Well, T-Bird, I know we're the same age, so this isn't an age joke. I don't know if you were at Maryland, but I think it's close. Did you ever cover Chris Jenkins and his time at Maryland? Because his son, Chris Jenkins.
Chris was the man.
Yes, he was, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was
Well,
unbelievable.
his son, Chris
had a
Jenkins.
huge NFL career, too.
Hey, Mike Loxley knows exactly where Chris Jenkins is right this very second, but so does Michigan, so does Penn State, so does Ohio State, because he's putting on a show for these guys in the offseason.
Yep.
So Big Chris, shout out to you. And
What's up, Chris?
There you go.
Awesome.
And let's not forget real quick, Mitchell Melton also getting the rivalry heated up with Ohio State and Michigan.
Yeah.
And these are two guys coming off the edge. They're going to make up for some of the guys they lost last year. The all-time sack leader headed off to JMU. These guys, Mitchell Melton and Chris Jenkins, are two of the most recruitable athletes in the country. They just happen to be teammates with Landon Tengwall. And, hey, listen, a high tide raises all ships. We've heard that once or twice in the last couple of years.
Yeah, we have. And the high tide, it doesn't even start on October 11th because Gonzaga is the opponent that night, which we haven't even talked anything about.
Oh, you mean the champions?
The champions. We can talk about them now. Let's talk about them now because we come back the very next week and cover the rematch of the championship. DeMatha at Gonzaga that at 2 p.m. on a Saturday afternoon. Caleb Williams.
Hey, you guys remember that game?
Oh, yeah, that was a great game. That's going to be a huge thing. I'm excited because I really appreciate Gonzaga, and I appreciate their spirit, especially around the things that we've been a part of. And so they've made it fun.
Yeah.
They've taken our show, for these games, and they've made it part of the senior class. I mean, it was a huge part of the senior class all the way through, all the way to graduation day.
Is God purple?
We're about to
find out.
Which
I
totally
think
Did you get a
deserve
diploma?
More, no, you deserve more credit for that. You should have a hyphen and your name.
Well, I appreciate them just carrying
that.
our
I don't
show
want my
with them.
name ever associated with that ever
I appreciate
in
it.
my
Of course,
life.
I understand.
I love how
And
you.
I tell everybody that was all you. That was not discussed in pre-production or anything. That was completely on the spot.
Yeah.
I got to be honest, as a St. John's guy, that still was brilliant. And guess what? Joe Rada, thank you,
Yes,
our friend.
yes.
Because
Yes,
it was
Joe.
important to us to be back for the next one.
Yes.
And I think, listen, Gonzaga does a great job in-house covering
Shout out to
their
Tony
own
Lamarzi.
stuff.
Tony Lamarzi,
And,
the whole
yeah,
group.
Tony Lamarzi
Yep.
does
All the kids that
fantastic
are
work.
involved,
He's
yep.
a pro. Jeff Clay, I just feel like you have to say Jeff Clay when you say Gonzaga because it's the only thing that gives me any hope.
Shouldn't
But,
forget Matt
hey,
neither, the one of our main sponsors.
well, listen, we don't have to do that just yet, but we can talk.
We just got to cover all our bases,
but we
but
can't
especially
talk-
when it comes to
but we-
Gonzaga right now.
We can say thank you to Joe for letting us come back for round 2 of this because it was an epic moment in our business world, and our business is the kids. The kids did it, and to
Right.
come back and see round 2 and just be a part of it.
Yep.
We're very lucky, guys, and
Yep.
like you said,
It's amazing.
like
Can't
you
wait
said,
to be down on I Street doing that, man.
well, let's
That's
not
gonna
forget
be
about
so
a
fun.
couple of these kids because that's no line that we're going to be talking about for a long time.
That's the one that probably comes in as one of the strengths of the conference, the heart of a football team on the offensive line. I think we've all been taught that by our main man Pat Ward. Certainly, these guys are. I mean, it's a whole line full of Langdon.
Listen.
It's ridiculous.
I challenge anyone out there that has any arguments about the area to find an O-line that has 4 seniors that have committed to Power 5 conferences coming back.
Yeah.
4 of the 5 starters are seniors who have committed to Power 5 conferences. Olu Fashanu, congratulations on your commitment to Penn State.
Just saw him on Twitter. It was a little snippet of him up at one of the Elite 11 camp.
Yep.
The man, I mean, just oozes the part of a left tackle.
Oh,
It's
he's
incredible.
He's
Absolutely incredible. That kid's even in high school.
and then he's got opposite him Patrick Matten, our boy James's
That's right.
nephew, NC State recent
State,
commit.
Wolfpack.
That's right.
Absolutely. Luke Pettibone took his commitment down to Wake Forest.
Also ACC. That's right.
And Justice Johnson playing a little center for the UVA Cavaliers.
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you, let me know, let us know. I'm not saying because I don't know specifically, but I cannot imagine 4 Power 5 seniors on any offensive line in the nation, especially when you imagine who's taking that snap
Right
from
behind him.
Justice. Yeah.
That's the part about it that to me makes it awesome. We're gonna get those guys in back-to-back weeks. We're gonna give them 3 of our last 4 games, regular season games. We'll have Gonzaga in it. We're gonna get a chance to watch Caleb sling it. One thing about
Caleb
Coach
Williams is a huge product out there. Huge
he's a talent.
prospect.
Yeah.
For
But
whoever's really going to snatch him up, and that's going to be fun to watch and fun to be a part of, and just fun to be a spectator of.
Well, it looks like Georgia, Penn State, and Alabama, which means that
Anyone
everyone.
else. Yep,
Yeah.
everybody. But the thing we know about Coach Travers is he's not afraid to commit to the ground game, which is be a hell of a lot easier to do behind that offensive line. But the fact that Caleb's going to probably have a lot of time to throw, it'll be interesting to see who emerges and fills in those ginormous shoes of Mr. Marshall and Mr. Sweeney.
man.
Well, I'm going to tell you, there's 2 names.
Go
There's
ahead.
2 names: Malcolm Terry and Aaron Turner.
Well,
They-
Aaron-
they both had big production last year.
did.
Behind those 2 guys, I believe that those 2 names we will be saying quite often over here at First Amendment Sports.
Okay.
And,
Oh, yeah. Oh,
and
yeah.
There's plenty of reasons for it.
Yep.
But I know firsthand what it's like to have an O line and a running game. Your quarterback, you're not upset at that. You know, I mean, any quarterback wants to throw 50, 60 times a game. Of course, that's fun to do. But when you have a running game and a line like that can set you up for, easy, incredible success on play action and keeping defenses on their toes, it's a nightmare when you have the ability to run and throw at will. It's incredible. That's what really is setting them up to be the team that everybody needs to knock off.
Yep. Well,
They definitely have the bullseye, guys. They have the
yeah.
bullseye. Now, good counsel, St. John's and DeMatha all beat them last year, but not when it mattered. And
Interestingly-
those guys came out with the dubs.
Interestingly,
when it
That's the
mattered.
most incredible thing.
they only
didn't
had
win
one
a
win.
game.
They almost
didn't
didn't make
win
it
a
to the
game.
playoffs. Yeah, exactly. and once again, I mean, you talk about, we always say, and I think it's even more true this year, coming down the home stretch in the WCAC, there's not a team in the entire country with a harder schedule than Bishop McNamara. the Mustangs because they're going to play
That
four.
that is actually a fact.
That's a fact.
I don't think
thought
that
I
needs to
always
be
said
double
that,
checked.
No, it's true.
I thought that was my.
We-
But, listen,
we've
but you can have it.
appropriated it.
You
Thank
can
you,
have
thank
it.
you,
can
thank
have
you.
it. Because it's true.
It's ours.
But it's true for all these
Agreed.
guys. I mean, Gonzaga,
It's really
the defending
McNamara's.
champs, who proved they could get to the finals and win after only getting that one win. You know, they come down the stretch. Good Counsel, DeMatha, and St. John's. I mean, that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. DeMatha leaves their game against Gonzaga that we cover on Saturday, October 19th. And then 2 weeks later, we see DeMatha get off the bus again at St. John's. St. John's hosts DeMatha. We didn't get a St. John's DeMatha game on our schedule, but the three of us have had the pleasure and honor of really being up close and personal to some St. John's and DeMatha games over the last couple of years. It's a great game.
Oh, it's
Absolutely.
It's an amazing game. Of all, I mean, there's I'm not to say one's better than the other, but that
No.
one has a little bit of juice in it, and we've seen it up close and personal on the sidelines for the last two
Well,
seasons.
we lived it. Both Kevin
Exactly.
and I, we
Well,
lived
yes,
it back
of
in
course.
in the 90s many a times.
And Doc Walker came from, and listen, he's out there in Southern California still saying that Trinity League needs to be dealt with, which they do. We're over here telling him we know what's up with the WCAC. He came our sophomore year at St. John's, where we'll be covering the St. John's DeMatha game. Let me do the math. 27 years later. Sorry, bro. But that day on WTEM, Doc Walker said he witnessed the most physical high school football game he had ever seen in his life. And it was a regular season St. John's DeMatha game where T. Strachan and I, as sophomores, got the crap kicked out of each other, and that was a fact.
But the cool thing about the 27 is that 27 years later, it still probably can be characterized the exact same thing.
It's,
I mean,
it's
these
going
are
to be
two
no
heavyweights.
different. You are right.
They're going to be fun to watch. We haven't really covered DeMatha yet. Bill McGregor's back, right? It's not about what you've done in the past, although what he's done in the past cannot be you can't
In
shake
this
your head at it,
situation,
right?
it is about what you've
But it's
done
about
in the
what you
past.
got now.
because-
It's about what you got
Yes.
now. I had an opportunity
Yeah.
to talk to Bill yesterday. Bill, thank you very much. You know, he's excited, as he always is, but he's always very reserved because he understands, and we talked about the fact, he says, Timmy, this league's ridiculous. I mean, look at what we have, not just out of conference, but what we have to go up week after week after week in conference. He talked about Caleb. He talked about, you know, Tangden. He talked about all the guys in the league that they're going to be going up against that we're talking about right now. And but he's excited about his guys as well. I think out of the team that we've talked about so far, probably has the most to replace in a lot of areas, a lot of key areas. First and foremost at quarterback, because Eric Nigerian, who again had a great championship game.
What a night
He really did.
You know, and he's a walk on now at Maryland, and it's not the last time we're going to hear his name. I'm almost sure about that. But those are some big shoes to fill. They have a transfer from Wilson and Malachi Anthony, a young man I've heard a lot about in the last couple of years. He did extremely well at Wilson. Has an opportunity now to lead the Stags, and really headlined by Marshawn Lynch. I'm sorry, Marshawn Lloyd.
Marshawn Lloyd.
Don't know.
Runs like Marshawn
That's not
Lynch.
offensive.
No,
That's
I
not
know.
offensive.
It's easy.
either
It's
guy.
easy to get him messed
Exactly.
up.
Yeah.
We're going to do that a lot this year.
Has
I did it,
committed,
yeah.
has committed to South Carolina. He made that commitment. One of the top running backs in the country, without a doubt. Just
5-star.
He's going to play on Sundays if he is God willing and he keeps his health. There's
Yeah.
nothing
Hey,
keeping this guy
keep
out of the
studying,
league. Of course.
keep making right decisions. You know, we only say this stuff because it's fun, but it's you know, you got to stay grounded. You know, and he is. You know, he's got a great relationship with his mom. What a wonderful way he did his commitment with her, able to share that with her.
I mean, he had a huge
but-
championship game.
Huge.
The
I
best
mean,
cut I've seen
one of the
in
greatest-
a long
oh,
time
Put
at
his
any
foot
level.
down, and it was
and we all giggled.
Lord of the Rings
It
style.
was over.
It was disgusting.
But you guys are talking about O-line for Good Counsel and Gonzaga and St. John's. The math is right there. I mean, this is going to be the heart and soul of their offense. And
They're
I also know
huge.
firsthand that's what Bill McGregor knows best.
Downhill.
I know what an off tackle, power.
Shout out Doug
Power
Karczewski.
eye. Is how many times that's going to be called in the game.
Sure.
And I know he can't wait to do it with some guys like Dwayne Alec, left tackle. He's narrowed it down. He's undecided. He's narrowed it down at NC State, Boston College. Really smart kid. Coach is really excited about him. You got Golden Achumba, who's also offensive lineman, right guard, going to Penn State.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say you got Olu and and him. Nice job, Penn State.
And then you got Dylan Foster. I gotta give the big guys, their due. Dylan Foster,
They must have
center.
been late for a meeting or something.
He's got a lot of Division I, what we call AA, or the what is it, FCS
football.
The FCS
the championship series
level. Probably only because of height. Which, when you're a football player, you're a football player. It doesn't matter those measurables. Things, if you do it on the field, people come find you, right?
Yep, sure.
And then also want to throw out there Jordan White, right tackle, Maryland commit, Maryland recruit, going to stay local. But those are some guys that are going to help Marshawn do what he does, what we have seen him do, for the last couple of years. And it's going to be awesome to see those guys going after it and seeing Bill put his little style on the power run and open things up for Malachi.
I think it's awesome. Welcome back, Coach McGregor.
That's right.
We're huge fans. He's actually a huge fan of ours. I don't think he was lying.
No.
He was happy to be here. But Jordan White, real quick, we saw him get hurt on television last year, early in the season, week 1, game 1, and he didn't get the chance to come back and do his thing. I'm so happy, just like with MJ Sherman at St. John's, that Jordan White gets the chance to have a senior year. T and I always talk about it. We didn't, for dumb reasons and horrible reasons and whatever. Can't wait to see him play some football.
That's right.
It's been a couple years for that young man, and good job, locking that down again.
Yep.
Another huge. You take an alignment from DeMatha when you're at Maryland every year, and you'll be all right.
Now, on the defensive side of the ball, real quick, just want to
Okay.
mention a couple guys, just because Coach, really was excited about some of the stuff that he's seeing out of these young guys. Kylan Mobley, rising junior defensive end, has about 20 offers, but also of the caliber of like a Stanford. He's got a 4.0 GPA. That's the first thing Bill talked about after mentioning his name is how smart this kid is and how proud he is of what he's been doing. He also went down the line as well. Meltion Davis, who's going to be it was a starter last year.
Yep.
He may be a little undersized. He's more of a.
You said his name.
Yes, another FCS kind of guy at this moment. And then he really got excited though about the linebacker crew. You got a guy, Greg Penn's got over 25 offers already. He's a rising junior. You got Jay Sean Barnhand, 6'3", 225.
I'll get it done.
Offers everywhere, Alabama, everything else. Bill simply said, freak athlete. Just can do everything. Just unbelievable to watch. Got to give a shout out to my boy Hezekiah Faison. Little Faison. I played with the older Faison, Hezekiah. He was my running back. He was a player last year, rising senior. He's going to be doing things. Where there's a big hole, what you can expect one, though, is in the back, right? Losing DeMarco Helms and Nick Cross.
What about my boy
really hurts.
Dominic Logan Neely?
He's gone.
I'm saying I can't ever talk about
Sorry,
DeMatha
kid.
without talking
He's
about
gone.
No. I'm saying I'm not going to talk about
but it's
DeMatha without
replacing
saying his
guys
name.
like that. It's replacing
Keep
guys like that.
watch us all season long because the Dominic Logan Neely Club is real, and it is all about the player who makes an amazing play at the end of the game that everybody forgets because someone else made it play like right after you guys. We do have an official member of that club because Casey Morcell. We inducted him into the Dominic Logan Neely Club during the last basketball season when he made an amazing play just before St. John's lost
in a
at the
different
buzzer beater.
season. He can't be a part of it. We have to have a different club.
It's a WCAC club for athletes who crush it at the end of the game just before someone else then recrushes it.
Well, but they didn't. But what they did.
I know.
Like
I want to remember them.
The thing of dreams.
It's all about honoring the Dominic Logan Neelys of the world who, with 15 seconds to go in the game, take a kickoff back to the house and send the whole place into absolute pandemonium. I will tip my hat to my man all day, and I will remember his name for big time clutch performances at the end of games. How about
it's guys like that?
I love it.
It's guys like that
love
DeMatha has to replace.
I love it.
Yeah, so we're not
in
going
the back end and on the wide receivers because DeMarco did both. But that's the next thing. That's what DeMatha does sometimes. That's what they're known for. Is next guy steps up.
Well, we have one more game to step up to before the postseason starts, and that is another rematch for First Amendment Sports. St. John's hosting Gonzaga on Saturday, November 9th at 3 p.m., which I double. I think that's right. I mean,
That's right.
We have is that after the time change?
It's after the time
after
change.
the time change.
And we get to take our talents back to Northeast Washington, D.C. at
Yes.
Catholic University.
That game will be at Catholic. We were this was our first big broadcast was at St. John's for the Gonzaga game. That had all kinds of controversy and drama and excitement and big time plays.
Only to be overshadowed by one of the greatest high school games ever played.
That's right. Correct.
Whew.
Absolutely. And that's where we go from there. You know, we talk about the WCAC semifinals. Friday and Saturday, weekend of the 16th. We don't know what days they're going to be played on. We don't know if one's going to be Friday or two are going to be on Saturday. We have no idea about that right now. So we can't promise anything other than we're definitely going to be at one. We hope to be at two. And that's, of course, at the as long as you guys will have us. But one place where they can't keep us away from, and that's the next week, the WCAC finals. We're going to be back in our spot.
We got that on paper.
We got that on paper. Commissioner Steve Colantuni said at least one more. We're going to be there this year at Catholic University to cover the championship, and we haven't got it all figured out yet. But I do feel strongly if we can figure out a way to give some shine to both championship games that day, the way we did last year, we're going to figure out a way to do that. We got tons of respect for St. Mary's Riken and the program, Coach Brady and his staff have been building.
They were awesome that day.
They were fun. They were fun to
Been
watch.
watching them all off season, man. They are working.
They are
working.
Mm-hmm.
Aaron's doing his thing. They're doing it the way it's supposed to be done. I mean, I know it's called the other division, but there's some great talent there. There's and they're working just as hard as everybody else, and they deserve every bit of it.
They absolutely do, and I do envision a time when they are on our schedule because I would love to make that trip down to Southern Maryland. We'll work on that.
The Hawaii of the WCAC.
The Hawaii of the WCAC. We'll get a room.
Aloha, guys.
Somewhere halfway
All we need
between
is a
here and
cabana.
there. We
I'm
need a
good.
cabana.
We can stay on Saturday night. Listen, guys.
That's right. I want to know how far they are from Cambridge. There's a nice little bed and breakfast there.
Oh no, I'm either staying in town
And you gotta get
or
creepy.
not.
It's
But
just
I know. Listen.
in town, dude. It's Leonard Town. I'm telling you, that's no.
All right,
in
I'm
town.
staying in L Town after a W by the Riken squad, the Knights, I believe. As
Yeah,
well, right?
yeah.
I'm gonna spend my night in L Town. That's what I'm telling you.
O'Connell, who was also in that game,
Mm-hmm.
suffers a pretty big loss from a talent perspective. Our man Jamal, I think, is gone. Jamal Banks. Where's he? They're going to be for the last year.
He headed up to St. Francis in Baltimore.
Yes, that's correct. St. Francis, it is. So a huge loss. He was ever present on that football field, but. It's going to be someone else's gain. It remains to be seen who it is. Either
Carroll and Paul VI aren't sweating none of this. They're thinking that.
That's right.
Bring them all at
That's
us.
right.
We want a little bit. We want a little bit of the night. So
that's taking you through, and so we whip through it. We're gonna beat this up over the next month. We're gonna talk about these games, these matchups, any news and notes. We're gonna bring people on our show to talk about what it is we got going on.
Well, of course we should, because nobody has a schedule like this in high school football in the nation. And hey, we started in the basement. Now we're here.
Yep.
So it's about time everyone took notice. And all we're here for is the kids, and we're all in on that. So I can't wait to keep doing this. And the coaching staffs too. Listen, these guys earn their living,
And the families,
their
I mean,
livelihoods. The families.
How many of these guys do we know that they're moms and dads, or we know
Oh,
guys who
absolutely.
teach them, or we
Come
know their
up.
coaches?
That's the best thing.
Please come up. We
Yes.
can't
Yes.
wait to talk to you. We
And
understand.
I can't wait. We don't have anything set yet, but we're going to have guys from the past who are legends of this league, who went on to do great things at college and in pros, to talk about their time playing in the league, but also how they still, today, 27 years, more or less, have been still following this league, want to talk about how great it is. The fact that no matter where they went, no matter where they played, at every level, they talked about their pride of this league. That's what we want to do throughout the summer. It's going to be a great lineup. It's going to be a lot of fun.
We will be back, though, next Tuesday night in our regularly scheduled time slot here in the basement to talk a little bit more about our schedule. We'll see if we can't line up a guest. We actually do have a pretty awesome guest. I don't want to overpromise and underdeliver, so we'll keep that to ourselves. But we got a big one coming, and we're excited
Just keep
about it.
tuning in, guys.
Yeah.
Just keep tuning in.
T's going to be here next Tuesday.
I mean, we get the biggest one you could ask for.
He loves it here.
Yeah. What else do you want? I mean, if we can't outrun Kevin, so what's going to happen? I mean, obviously, according to Kevin.
With friends like you, who the hell needs an enemy, right?
You accused me of making a quadriplegic joke, and I was making a speed joke.
You did.
It was
You switched it really good at the end there.
I swear on my firstborn's eyes that was a speed joke. A speed.
Yeah, you made a speed joke. To a quadriplegic. That's disgusting.
How do you sleep at night? Unbelievable.
How are you going to sleep after that one?
know,
We
right?
had fun. Guys.
Hey,
We had fun.
anyways.
He's
listen,
Tim Strachan.
Keep coming back. Love it.
He's Kevin Ricka.
Thanks for doing Speedy first. But, hey, real quick, five stars. MJ Sherman, Rakim Jarrett, Marshawn Lloyd, Landon Tengwall, and Caleb Williams. That's what we got here, too. No one else has that either.
No one has 5.
Nope.
5
Doesn't
stars.
happen.
That's amazing. We can't wait for it to be August 24th. I can't wait to be sitting ringside for some of the best high school football there is to be watched anywhere. You're going to be able to watch it right there. First Amendment Sports. Do us a favor, hit that subscribe button, get updates and heads up when we do go live. Until next week, I'm Ken Marangolo, and this was the WCAC Spectacular. All right, guys. We're still live. Thanks, everybody, for hanging out.
Come here's
Appreciate you.
Talk Redskins next.
Oh, yeah. Come on back in about
Check it
5
out.
minutes. Maybe
Check it out.
maybe
You
10 or
wanna race
15.
down the street?
Let's race.
Like touch the oak and back
I will
first?
dust your ass.
Probably. I'm going to sprain your ankle.